Okay, so I'm going to go through and give you a hint on one of the homework problems. I can't remember which number it is, but it's similar to this one. And it says the sum of the squares of two consecutive numbers is 421. Find the two numbers. And so the way you want to set this up, the one on your homework, is sum of the squares of two consecutive even numbers. We just want consecutive numbers here. So what you want to do is you want to set it up off to the side, like first number is going to be x, and the next consecutive number would be x plus 1. So if we're looking for the sum of the squares of these, we are going to take x squared plus the quantity x plus 1 squared equal to 421. Now, from here, you have to really be careful with this x plus 1 quantity squared, because that is the same thing as x plus 1 times x plus 1. So I'm just going to write it underneath there when I carry down the equation, because you have to FOIL it out. You can't just do or distribute that exponent, okay? So we can't do that. So I'm going to bring down this x squared, and let's see here. We're going to bring down this x squared, and then x plus 1 times the quantity x plus 1 is x squared plus 2x plus 1. That is from our shortcut where you add the two numbers and then you multiply the two numbers. So from here we combine like terms, and I'm also going to subtract 421 from both sides. So I get 2x squared plus 2x minus 420 equal to 0. Okay. From here, I'm going to factor out a 2. To get x squared plus x minus 210. And now we're looking for factors of negative 210 that add up to positive 1. So factors of negative 210, I just want to double check this real quick here. 210 divided by 15 is 14. So this will be x plus 15 and x minus 14. So your two values are negative 15 and positive 14. Now, it doesn't say anything about being a positive number or being a negative number. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say that if x is negative 15, so if my first number is negative 15, then my second number would be negative 14 because you add 1. Now, if we were to check that, our check step would be negative 15 quantity squared plus negative 14 quantity squared. We get 225 plus 196, which equals 421. So both of those work. Now, if the first number is a positive 14, then the second number would be a positive 15. And hopefully you can see that if we plug that into the calculator, we get the same exact thing of 196 plus 225, which is 421. Okay, so there is your hint on the one where it says sum of the squares of two consecutive even. Now, if we were to go, and I'm going to give you a hint on a couple more here. I'm going to add another page. The other ones I feel are similar to problems that we've done before, except for maybe the rocket problem and the fencing problem with the dog. And with the rocket problem, I'm going to, type in some hint. I'm going to write in some hints here. So the rocket problem had 3 parts to it. The first part talked about when it will have fallen to the ground. So when will it hit the ground? Now, if you think about the rocket being launched, okay, so it's going to shoot up on our graph. It's going to shoot up and then it's going to hit the ground here. It's going to hit the ground when your height or the distance, it's calling it the distance above the ground, is equal to 0. So when you set up the equation, it's going to be equal to 0. So 0 equals 160t minus 16t squared. So you factor that and you solve that to find when it will hit the ground. Now you're going to have 2 values that you get for this. It's only going to be the second one because if you think about it, the value of when the distance will be 0 will be at the very beginning where it launches and when it's back on its way down when it's 0 again. So you want the second value there. For part B, it's asking when it will be 144 feet above the ground. Now, it doesn't say anything about 144 being the maximum height. So that is when your distance D equals 144. And again, you just solve the equation again, but you plug in 144 where D is. So 144 equals 160t minus 16t squared. And then you go through and you solve it very similar to the one that we did in class. Okay, now the last one here for letter C is one that I asked, what is the maximum height? And this is where, I'm going to star this one here. You have to use the vertex formula for the line of symmetry. So use the vertex to find the maximum height. Remember, to find the maximum height, you have to first find how long it's going to take until it is at its peak. Okay, I'm going to put a little star here at the top. This is our maximum height. You're going to find out how long it takes to get there, and after you find out how long it takes, you have to plug that into the equation to find the distance. So that's the rocket problem. All right, the last hint is the one where we're looking at the dog problem to maximize the fencing. That's similar to the one that we did where you have to set up the equation. Okay, so here's your house and here's the fencing. Okay, you need to write an equation to find the maximum dimensions. So again, that's using your vertex formula. If you have questions, you can shoot me an email. I'll try to be available during class period today. But otherwise, I will be available for through email or before school on Wednesday, I'm hoping. Okay. So work with each other, help each other out. This is still due, let's see, tomorrow's Tuesday. It will be due on Wednesday. All right, thanks.